I know personally of documentation of cases where this has happened. I don't pick people up and take them to vote illegally. Well, can you automate trust decisions? Well, automation of context requires that the context is the same. All right, so let's take something, purchasing a book. There we go. Purchasing a book has the same privacy and trust implications. Well, no, it doesn't. What if it's on, there may be a difference between, say, purchasing a book on divorce. Do you want that to pop up on your home computer? How to choose a, it's like, oh, maybe I should have talked to you about this. Impotency, you want that, your boss. There was a case in which, and there's an ad, and this was prohibited under HIPAA. Before HIPAA, there was a service you could get. You could send the names of all your employees who were chronically late to the medical data clearinghouse in Massachusetts, and they would send you the names of the ones that weren't on Prozac yet. And then so they could go to their doctor and get a free sample, because if you're late, you must be depressed, right? So, effective job searching, number theory. Do you want your boss to know about your effective job searching book? These are all books, right? So how do we deal with this? I argue that what we need to do is embed trust in context, all right? So, Alice and Bob, they get around, don't they? But usually, Alice has never met Bob. It is my contention that in decades of transmitting information, Alice and Bob met. In fact, I think Alice and Bob met sometime in the 50s. They know each other pretty well now. Alice is friends with Bob, which is why she keeps trying to communicate with him. She trusts Bob's opinion. Bob likes that website. Alice has never heard of that website and may not trust that website, but she will inform her trust decision with Bob's experience on the website. It's not an automatic trust generator. So, what does that mean? We use a social network, right? Now, most of your who here has a buddy list? Right? You got a social network built in. It's already extant. So what we do is import buddy list, as well as well-known, user-selected central authorities. We call them broadcasters in the system, so you can have a broadcaster or buddy. So what the net trust system does is displays meaningful information so they can make an educated decision about the trustworthiness of a website. So let me see if I can get the mouse going here. We did these user tests. So since I've done these user tests, you see how that face has kind of, it's not happy. We replaced all moderately not happy faces with Mr. Yuck faces. So I'll talk to you now about how this works. All right. This is your friends. So you have 10 people in your buddy list, and they can rate the site, and it's got a 6 out of a 10 rating. Okay? This is your context. You can have a context that says, so, Professor Jean, I have a social network. It turns out, as mom, I have a very different social network. And I don't necessarily want to broadcast to my friends all the places I shop as mom, right? Nor are they interested, frankly. So I have different social networks. And the information that I share is different with in these social networks. And the information I get is from different people. I would really honor my mother's opinion of a fabric store. I really want Matt Blaze's opinion of a seller of security services. Right? So this is what your buddies think. This determines both from whom you're getting information and with whom you share information. So one of those settings is always private. It is always the case that you can choose not to share any information with a user about what website you're on. Okay? All right. Again, I'd just like to blame Microsoft for this moment. We did an initial usability test. We looked at the 3 different websites, all of which were made up, all of which had similar designs based on the usability literature about trust, right? We had no human faces. We had one human face next to, on the main page, one human face next to the primary page, to the privacy policy. We had the same privacy policies. We used similar fonts. We had the same level of effect. All right? This toolbar vastly increased the amount of trust, right? The Better Business Bureau is very happy with this website. Google thinks this is a website with lots of Google juice. PayPal says, we've never heard of these people. The FDIC, we don't think they're a bank. All right? That's why I included that. Without the toolbar, oh, you can't see this, went off. 52% said they don't trust the site. Here it went from 60 to 42. Here it went down to about 18. We had our best response on this one. And then the third one, okay, it was green. People hated it. 80% didn't trust the site. 76%. So what I think is interesting is 76% is a 4% increase. If this doesn't just, you know, your friends liked it, but what did the Better Business Bureau think? This is what I would call a mistrust signal. Does this indicate to you that this is not a website of which the Better Business Bureau approves? This is not subtle. This is like the little man is throwing up on your computer. But what we thought was interesting is that the peer feedback dominates the negative feedback. That just because it's existed, even though the Better Business Bureau didn't like it, the peer feedback dominated. So we have since then done another experiment with 75%. And what we did is we had a mixed toolbar, a positive toolbar, a negative toolbar, and a reverse mixed toolbar. That is to say, we had one toolbar in which the Better Business Bureau and PayPal hated the site and all your friends liked it. And we had one toolbar in which your friends didn't like it, but PayPal and the Better Business Bureau did like it. And it was consistent. People trust their friends more than they trust centralized authorities. And that makes sense, right? I mean, look at your demographic. The centralized authorities, your friends will take you drinking. The centralized authorities will send you to war. Who should you trust, you know? So, all in all, people found the system useful, easy to use. It's easy to use and it's useful. So, 80% of the participants found the signals meaningful. These were meaningful signals. You will not get 80% of users find the trustee stamp meaningful, okay? 80% said they would enjoy using the system, the same ones that are meaningful. So, will this work in theory? Will this even work in theory? So the way we decided, will this work in theory? We used simple agent modeling and talked about resources. So 95% of the resources are good, right? Most people are not fishers. Most websites. Most people won't even steal your wallet. 5% are bad. The 5% that are bad have distinct temporal signatures. That is an important assumption. All right, let me talk to you about these ratings. I see this is great. Here we go. This rating becomes non-zero on your second visit. It becomes non-zero on your second visit, and it must occur at least 72 hours after your first visit. So when you first visit a site, there is a one-level URL, meaning like